is Sunday, January 1st, 2017. It's New Year's Day, and this is our annual yearbook edition of Flashpoint. Hi, welcome to Flashpoint. A very happy new year. I'm so glad you're starting 2017 with us this morning. But I must confess, recapping 2016 would probably take something like a 24-hour no-commercial marathon. I doubt we'd cover all of it even then. In some ways, 2016 was a reach into the future, where social media really becomes the currency of our times, when many have decided the truth is somehow now subjective, when a political rookie can dispatch the most seasoned political veteran around. In some ways, 2016 was a step back in time. Nuclear tests and saber rattling, Cold War espionage and electronic skullduggery, and lead in the drinking water in Flint. But in many ways, 2016 was a vexing culmination of many things that had long been coming to a boil. Terrorist attacks from Baghdad to Brussels. In Orlando, the worst mass shooting in United States history. The bloody confrontations between police and black men. And the very severe divide that we feel as Americans right now as we head into that peaceful transition of power that is a hallmark of our nation. We also lost so many titans this year, from Muhammad Ali to Prince to David Bowie to George Michael to, oh so poignantly this week, Carrie Fisher and then her mother, Debbie Reynolds. But in many ways, the passing that may reverberate the longest might be that of Antonin Scalia. The refusal of Senate Republicans to vote on Merrick Garland left Barack Obama without putting one more imprint on the Supreme Court and gave one more to Donald Trump, who many believe will have several coming over the next 4 years. So it is a very full menu today as we sit down to look back and look ahead. It's New Year's Day today on Flashpoint. All right, let's ring in the new year with the first roundtable of 2017, but all familiar faces in the Flashpoint family. Very happy to have with me today from the Detroit Free Press editorial page editor Stephen Henderson, Michigan's 12th District Democratic Congresswoman Debbie Dingell back with us. We've raided the Detroit News newsroom today. Columnist Daniel Howes is here, and their editorial page chief Nolan Finley. Happy New Year, gang. Thank you very much for coming. Congresswoman, let me start with you. You are among the many people that I know that I would describe as a professional optimist, the captain of that club. I find myself wondering, though, if after the year that we've had, if you're one of those really ready to just usher 2016 on its way.
Well, I mean, it's been an interesting year. Some of us actually even predicted some of the things that were going to happen.
Yes.
And, you know, 2017's here. We're America. We have a strong Constitution. We're going to survive.
Are you concerned, though, about this, the divide that I'm talking about, that I think, and I've insisted all along, was going to exist no matter who won the election? But we've got a lot of people who really don't seem to be all that willing to give, say, Donald Trump a chance right now.
I think the divide is much bigger than giving Donald Trump a chance, etc. I think it's one of the reasons why we saw the outcome of this election in the way that we did, and I am worried about that divide. Yeah. I think the middle class is getting smaller. People are angry. They're frustrated, and that's what you're seeing playing out, and we have got to begin to address the problems that are impacting the majority of Americans.
Nolan, the Pentagon has a phrase they use from time to time about called a crisis of imagination, having a difficulty envisioning. So I'm having that right now in trying to see how we all come together again, how we coalesce. What do you see in 2017?
Well, we may not. I mean, we may not come together. There's no guarantee that we will. I think a lot depends on the outcome of some of the policies that the new president has proposed, how well he listens to what I think is a very good cabinet he's put together, professionals, mature people, and whether or not this economy gets roaring. If the early moves to deregulate and cut taxes produce a boom, I think a lot of our discontent, some of our discontent, goes away. If we get in a trade war and everything collapses, then I think we've got chaos.
You were not his biggest fan through the election, but you are impressed with who he's put around him so far?
I'm in the give him a chance camp. I like the cabinet picks. I don't like the ongoing, mouthing off and sort of unpresidential behavior. I'm sort of old school. I don't like the whole social network squawking. I'm disappointed over the past couple of weeks in both he and the president in their lack of sort of presidential behavior. I hope that goes away.
Stephen, what are your thoughts here? My hunch is you're not as optimistic about the cabinet choices.
No. I think you got some real problematic picks there. People who have no professional experience or expertise in areas that they will be in charge of. We've not seen that before. And you know, I am in the camp with Nolan, of saying, all right, let's see how this works. I mean, he's going to get what he wants out of a Congress that I think is not going to be particularly willing to stand up to him. So let's see how that. We will see what they do with those. But I am not optimistic about this sort of coming together, and I think that's okay too. Every once in a while, we got to have it out in this country over some pretty fundamental things, and there are a lot of people who I think are aggrieved quite properly about some of the things that went on the last year, some of the things that have been going on for some time, and the next 4 years. We'll see how all that shakes out.
But I mean, there's the assumption that Congress is going to rubber stamp everything he wants because it's a Republican Congress. If you look at what they've done over the last 4 years when they've had a majority, they couldn't get along with each other. I'm not sure the divide between pragmatic conservatives and ideologues is going to go away. That means that you may see just as much gridlock as we've had for the last few years.
Daniel, this frames an interesting conundrum, I think, right now for the American press. Because we were perceived as having so much wrong for months. Now, critical thought, critical reporting is seen to be by some, I think, as sour grapes.
Suspect, right?
Yeah, so this is a really interesting, I think, personally, a critical year for the American press movement.
It is, and I don't have a lot of faith that they're gonna handle it very well, to be honest with you.
Not we.
They, we. Donald Trump is a very easy target, and he makes himself one by tweeting and doing that kind of stuff, and stirring the pot whenever he can. And I think you will continue to see outrage in the nation's newspapers, editorial pages, and others over some of the positions that he takes. I also think, though, that a growing economy will paper over a lot of these problems. And you look at what's happened with the Trump boom since the election in the stock market. It's pretty remarkable. I mean, people were saying it was going to drop 900 points when he got elected, and it's up over 20,000.
But the question is, who is that growing economy going to benefit? Is it going to continue to benefit those billionaires who are getting appointed to a cabinet where Nolan is totally
that's a legitimate point, but I think it really depends upon how business reacts. But
it's not just business; it's working men and women.
No, Debbie, I'm talking about how business reacts in terms of investment. I mean, look at some of the things that some of the decisions business has already made in terms of reinvestment. And if they were going to bet on the come with this guy on taxes and regulation, and I think you're going to see some other kinds of investment.
And who's benefited over the last 8 years from the rising stock market and Obama's policies? It's not been the little people. It's not been the middle. But they've lost ground.
We saved the auto industry.
I mean, it's not like anything changes.
I was going to say, there's been some pretty important things that made life different for those people. One was what Debbie's talking about, saving the auto industry. The other is the fact that you got 20 million people who have health insurance who did not. And you have 40, 50 million who had it and can't use it because the prices have gone out of control. So what choice do you make there, Nolan?
When you've had
20 million off?
When you've had eight years for the first time in history where you've never hit 3% growth, that's not an economic boom.
So what's your solution?
Tepid.
Let me ask 20 million people off health care?
You're going to have to rewrite the law. Congresswoman,
can't
go on this path.
Well, in fact, Congresswoman, what is going to happen to Obamacare?
Well, it's going to be very interesting. Suddenly, Republicans who do not want to, and I've said this from the beginning, nobody wants to say that you can't get insurance because of a pre-existing condition. No one wants to tell a child that they can't be on their parents' health insurance anymore, or wants to go back to a lifetime cap, or say to a woman that because you're a woman, it's a pre-existing condition.
So you keep on this path where people every year are getting 20 and 30% increase in their
No, that's not okay. We're going to have to fix that problem. Whether you're a Democrat or Republican, we've got to go in and fix the system.
There are a bunch of ways.
So the law has to be rewritten.
But no,
rewritten, not repealed.
Do you believe that if you live in this country, you should be able to get affordable quality health care?
I think we should.
Simple. Do you think
I think we need to address health care cost,
But
first,
two sides
which is
of the
what
same
we
coin.
should have done
Agreed.
8 years ago, instead of saying we're going to address access first and to hell with cost.
Well,
and what you have
Nobody
today,
said to hell with cost. That's not-
what you've got today is people paying $12,000 and $13,000 a year for insurance policies, and then another $10,000 a year to use that insurance.
Before I get to a break,
middle
where
class
do you
can't
suppose
afford it.
American business really is on Obamacare? I think the hidden secret for a long time was that there were a lot of CEOs in America who really wanted it out of their hair.
Sure. I mean, you mean their own health care?
Yes.
Yes, and I think that's probably true. It's a huge drain on a lot of businesses, and to the extent that they can somehow socialize that cost with everybody else, I think some businesses would certainly welcome that.
Yeah. We can take a quick break. Much more to come as we look back and look ahead. It's New Year's Day on Flashpoint on Local 4.